Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. I just finished filming a journal update video, so if you see that I'm sitting in the exact same spot in the exact same sweatshirt, I am. I wanted to talk about my books. I wanted to talk about my journaling. I don't really care that I'm in the same clothes because we're FaceTiming, we're chatting, okay? I would like to give you a reading wrap up for the month of January 2026. So I had a pretty good reading month this month. I can actually show you my reading journal, a little preview of the books I'm going to be talking about. I read 11 books this month. I know there's only 10 in here. I just finished the other one this morning, so I didn't put it in here. We're going to start with Until the World Falls Down by Lynde. This is a romantasy based off of the film The Labyrinth by Jim Henson. If you don't know what The Labyrinth is about, it's about a girl who gets kidnapped by the Goblin King, which is David Bowie, and she has to solve a labyrinth in order to rescue her brother. There's a lot more going on than that. It's puppets and stuff. So this is about a girl named Nell who, after suffering like a horrific heartbreak, is kind of entrapped by the quote-unquote like Goblin King, the Labyrinth King, Inver. And she needs to escape his labyrinth in order to not be stuck there for eternity. There's no other character she's trying to save compared to like the original film, but it's fine. If you like romantasy, I imagine you'd probably like this. If you really like smut, you'd probably like this. It's quite spicy. It's a lot more heavy-handed in it than I was anticipating going into this. But I had a fun time when I was reading it. I knew going into this that I would either absolutely love it because it's based off of my favorite movie, or I would absolutely hate it because it's based off of my favorite movie. And I will say, I enjoyed it. It wasn't as the Labyrinth based as I was hoping, again, as a true Labyrinth fan. But I had a good time. I enjoyed it. If you like romantasy, if you like spicy books, you'd probably like it. It's a little dark leaning, like dark romance, because there is a little bit of coercion going on. There's a little bit of, how much consent is there being given when you're trapped in a labyrinth? Power dynamics, things like that. If you're uncomfortable with that, don't read it. But if you're fine with it, you'd probably like it. Next, let's get into the thrillers that I did this month. So I read 3 thrillers this month, I believe. 4 like thriller/horror books. I think We Used to Live Here is more horror. So the first one that I read, this is a horrible picture, was Saving Noah by Lucinda. This is from the POV of a mom whose son has been not only accused, but like convicted of minors. And it's about her trying to rectify that, also having a hard time believing that it happened, hard time believing that it was as serious as it is. I will say I did hear about this story before reading it or listening to it. I did it as an audiobook. It wasn't as heavy as I was anticipating. It's far heavier in the, oh, that's sad kind of sense rather than the like, oh kind of sense. Does that make sense? It's definitely a lot more about like the mom dealing with the emotions of this situation rather than the situation itself or even the son. We do see some of his POV, like he's in a mental hospital and we see some of his POVs of that. We see when he comes out and like them dealing with his younger sister and the marriage between the parents falling apart, and it is interesting. It is an interesting read. It just wasn't the story I was anticipating it being. I really thought it was going to be more prior to him being convicted. I thought it was going to be like her denying the accusations rather than her accepting the accusations. Again, it wasn't my favorite book that I've ever read. It was totally fine. My horror for this month was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Whoa, what? I don't even have any idea of how to say his name. I'm so sorry. This was also disappointing. I did not enjoy the ending of this. I did this as an audiobook. There's a lesbian couple who recently purchased a home, and one day during a snowstorm, a family shows up on their doorstep and is like, "Hey, I grew up in this house. Would it be okay for me to show my kids where I grew up?" And the main girl is a people pleaser, so she's like, "Yeah, okay, come in, show your kids." And they just don't leave. I went into it thinking it was going to be a little bit more thriller or a little bit more real people horror. It is not. It's ghostly, demonic horror. I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't hit in the way I wanted it to. I did not enjoy the ending. This was probably my least favorite book this month. Saving Noah, I went into it with very different expectations, and I think that's why I didn't enjoy it. This book, I had different expectations, but I also just didn't enjoy the story that I was given. Saving Noah, I enjoyed the story. I should probably give it a little bit of a higher score than what I did, but I just didn't enjoy the story of it. I didn't really like that book very much, honestly, and it's quite popular, and I need to stop reading books that are popular. Oh, the blurb on the front was from Frida McFadden. I should have known. Damn. The next thriller that I read was The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. Another audiobook. Fine. Another totally fine book. If I'm being entirely honest, I don't remember the plot to this one. I think this one's about a girl whose twin sister went missing years ago, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her twin sister. Right? Am I making that up? I don't think I am. Hold on, I'll have to read you the blurb on this one because I actually don't remember. Nick is in a rut. At 24, she lives alone in a dinky apartment in her hometown in Mishawaka, Indiana. She's gotten a DWI and works the same dead-end job she's been working since high school, a job she only has because her boss is a family friend and feels sorry for her. Everyone has felt sorry for her for the last 7 years, since the day her older sister, Casey, vanished without a trace. On the night Casey went missing, her car was found over 100 miles from home. The driver's door was open and her purse was untouched in the seat next to it. The only real clue in her disappearance was Jules Connor, another young woman from the same area who disappeared in the same way 2 weeks earlier. But with so little for the police to go on, both their cases eventually went cold. Nick wants nothing more than to move on from her sister's disappearance and the state it's left her in. But then one day, Jules' sister, Jenna Connor, walks into her life and offers Nick something she hasn't felt in a long time: hope. What follows is a gripping tale of two sisters who will do anything to find their missing halves. Clearly, this book didn't leave much of an impression on me because I did not remember the plot. Now that I've read the description, I do remember what happens in this book. It was fine. I think if you read a lot of thrillers, I think you'll see the ending of this one coming. If you're not a huge thriller person, I think it would be a pretty good shock. But I read a lot of thrillers, so it's kind of hard to surprise me. It was fine. Not very memorable, but it was fine when I read it. Then we did one more thriller this month, and then we're getting into the Heated Rivalry brain rot. So I read The Chain by Adrian McKinty. Adrian McKinty. I can't read a single person's name ever. It's actually shocking. This book is about a woman who one day gets a phone call that her daughter has been kidnapped, and she needs to kidnap another person's loved one in order to continue the chain and get her daughter back. I had heard pretty good things about this book going into it. Once again, I was disappointed. I thought that the most interesting part was definitely setting up for the, kidnapping. And that was, a pretty short part of the book. Setting up for the kidnapping was, 30% of the book, maybe. And then, by 50%, she got her daughter back. That was the part that I thought was more compelling and was more, thriller. The twist was also extremely predictable. One of the most predictable twists I think I've ever seen coming. I spotted it as soon as it started. The breadcrumbs were whole baguettes, okay? It was kind of shocking how easy it was to guess what the plot twist was going to be. It wasn't great. I wouldn't recommend this one either. I read this one digitally, by the way. I read it on my iPad. I don't think I can recommend this one. This one and I think We Used to Live Here are definitely my two least favorites of this month. We Used to Live Here, I disliked the plot itself more versus The Chain. I think I disliked the writing more. But I didn't like either book, I would say. It's time. We're going to talk about Heated Rivalry. Okay, I have been in pure Heated Rivalry brain rot just like everyone else has been since December. Okay, and I decided to read the entire series. If you don't know, Heated Rivalry is a hockey romance television series that is originally based on Crave Canada, I believe is what like that streaming service is called, but it was picked up by HBO in America, so it's kind of absolutely everywhere. But it's originally based off of a currently 6-book series with a 7th book coming out in, I believe, September. The first book is called Game Changer, and it's about a couple called Kip and Scott. Scott is a professional hockey player. Kip is a smoothie, like he works like a smoothie cafe, smoothie restaurant. They meet, secret relationship, etc. It's been a long time since I've read just straight up romance books. I had so much fun reading this entire series. I'm gonna let you know now, I gave every single book at least 4 stars. I had so much fun reading it, okay? I'm just gonna kind of like briefly go through each of them, but no, I did enjoy all of them. Okay, so first, Game Changer with Skit and Game Changer with Scott and Kip. I gave this one like 4.5 stars. The writing wasn't the best, but this was the first book, so she definitely improved. There also wasn't that much like going on with the characters. They were kind of bland. Then we go to Heated Rivalry with Shane and Ilya. This is the book and relationship that the series is based off of. It's great. If you like the show, you're going to love the book. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I had a great time. The next one is Tough Guy. This is about Ryan Price and Fabian Salah, I believe is his name. I gave this one 4 stars. This was one of my less... I have 2 like least favorites, and this is one of them. I love Ryan. Love Ryan. He's, again, professional hockey player, and him and Fabian actually met when they were young, and they reunited as adults. I didn't really like the plot of their romance that much. It really... didn't really do anything for me. Oh, I didn't tell you what the plot of Heated Rivalry was. This is about Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov. They are rivals. They enter rookie year at the same time, but they have a secret situationship for like 10 years. So, great. Yeah, Tough Guy. It was fine. I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't like my favorite. Common Goal. This is about Eric and Kyle. Eric, again, professional hockey player. Kyle is a bartender and also fine. This one was kind of the opposite of Tough Guy, where Tough Guy, I loved Ryan, and I did like Fabian, but I didn't really like the plot. Whereas Common Goal, I was interested in the plot, but I didn't care about the characters at all. Kyle and Eric were very, like, meh characters for me. They were very bland. I didn't care about them at all. Next, we have Role Model, which is Troy and Harris. This might be my favorite book of the series. I love Troy so much. I love Troy. I love his character development. I really enjoyed their relationship. I thought it was so cute and so sweet. Their story is good. It's compelling. It's interesting. I love this book. I think... I'll give you my ranking in a second. Don't get ahead of yourself. And then the last one is The Long Game, which is Shane and Ilya again. This is the only one that has a sequel, and then it's getting a 3rd book in September. I can't talk about The Long Game. I finished it this morning. I cried a lot, actually, reading this book. It's so good, and it's so sweet. I loved it so much. Okay? I hated it. This was by far the one with the most, like, angst and the most upsetting to read by far. But it was so good. It was so good. Oh my god, did I love it. Yeah, I really love The Long Game. This book is so good. If it wasn't for The Long Game, I would say Role Model was my favorite. So going through all of them, I would say, again, The Long Game was my favorite, then Role Model, then Heated Rivalry, Game Changers, maybe Tough Guy, Common Goal. Those 2 you might be able to switch, kind of depending on the day. today, Common Gold is the bottom for me. I still enjoyed all of the books, and I am glad that I read all of the books before reading The Long Game, because every character that's in these other books is in The Long Game. So having all of the context of who all of these characters are and what they have gone through to get to the point that we're in The Long Game helped so much in reading this book and like connecting with it a lot, especially because some of the things that the characters have gone through, like in Role Model or in Game Changer, is things that Shane and Ilya are dealing with in The Long Game. So they're able to kind of like communicate with the other characters about like how they went through it, and I watched them go through it the first time, and now it's so good. It's so good. I really love this series. It was so fun. It was so cute. I am probably going to start reading fan fictions after this because I just like, I need it. It's so good. Oh, it was great. That's it. That's every book I read this month. I'm pretty proud of how many books I read this month. I should read more physical books next month because I definitely need to make some more space on my bookshelves. But I had a good time. I was going to say I enjoyed all the books I read. That's not true. That would have been a lie. I enjoyed all of the romance books I read this month, which is interesting. Usually that's not the case. Usually the romantasy books are the least favorite books that I've read in a given month. So that's an interesting twist. I think that's going to be it for today. If you've read any of these books, please give me your opinions, especially on the Heated Rivalry ones. I'm always open to recommendations and suggestions. All right, thank you very much for hanging out with me and chatting about the books that I read this month. Hey. Anyways, that's all for today. I will see you in the next one, so bye-bye.